Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're the place you come to really get under the skin of the source material, skipping the fluff and getting straight into the guts of the lore.
That's the mission.
And today, oh boy, have we got a foundational text. We are tackling the Vault 13 timeline document, a post-nuclear adventure design doc that basically lays out the entire damn history of the collapse.
It really is the blueprint, isn't it? It covers, what, over 100 years? Global collapse, absolutely batshit crazy science, and the birth of two huge factions that define everything that comes after.
Exactly. And we're not just skimming, we are going year by year, concept by concept. We want you to understand the why behind this whole cataclysm, from 2052 right up to 2161.
And what's really striking when you dig into this source is the speed. It's not this slow, drawn-out apocalypse people sometimes imagine. No, this is a brutal, rapid dismantling of, well, everything. Civilization just gets shredded.
Shredded is a good word for it. So buckle up. Let's start at the beginning, or maybe the beginning of the end, right? 2052. The source calls this the start of the resource wars. It wasn't ideology, it wasn't religion, it was simple, brutal scarcity. Oil, timber, you name it, the world was running out.
Yeah, it's like a global game of musical chairs, but with nukes waiting in the wings,
Yeah.
music stops, everyone lunges for the last barrel of oil, the last tree, and things get ugly fast.
And the first casualties aren't even battlefields, are they? It's the structure itself. Third world nations just go bankrupt. Civil war spreads like a plague, the document says. That's chilling.
It is, because it's not organized war, it's chaos, internal collapse, people fighting neighbors not over flags but over clean water or a can of gas.
And then the big one, same year. The UN gets disbanded. Just gone.
And that's not just some bureaucratic shuffle. That's the end of any pretense of global governance, of international law. It's basically a green light for every nation left standing to act like a complete bastard.
No more rules.
None. No treaties, no oversight, no one to even pretend to appeal to.
Meanwhile, the US slams its borders shut, tries to build a wall against the chaos. Isolationism kicks in hard.
Yeah, while simultaneously Europe and the Middle East just erupt. This force says, neighbor battles neighbor. It's just pure, localized savagery over dwindling resources.
But wait, there's a bit of a contradiction here, isn't there? The US is all isolationist, closing borders. But the sources also mention the Anchorage front line in Alaska later. There is still fighting overseas, occupying territory. How does that square?
That's a great point, and it's actually key to their later failures. They're trying to have it both ways. Project Power abroad. Hold on to resource-rich Alaska, act like the big dog, while also trying to seal themselves off domestically. They're stretching everything thin. Resources, manpower, political will. It's a recipe for disaster, trying to fight a foreign war while your own house is burning down.
Right, they can't afford to do both. And while this geopolitical mess is unfolding, 2053 drops another bomb, a biological one, the new plague.
Ugh, yeah. Socially transmittable, spreads like wildfire, and the kicker, those persistent rimmers, genetically created.
So now you've got resource wars and a potential bioweapon pandemic. Fantastic.
It sends the U.S. into total panic mode. They institute the first ever national quarantine. Can you imagine the fear? It's this primal terror of the unseen, the uncontrollable disease.
And that panic, that desperation for a cure, that's the seed, isn't it? That's what leads them down the FEV rabbit hole a few years later.
Directly. The plague itself was bad, obviously, but it was the desperate, maybe even unethical scramble for a miracle cure that really doomed everyone. They were so focused on stopping the plague, they accidentally created something infinitely worse.
Okay, so the world's already a powder keg. Then, 2054, a small nuclear exchange happens in the Middle East. Just a small one.
Small, yeah, but enough. Enough to make the threat horrifyingly real. It validates everyone's worst fears and kicks the U.S. government into overdrive.
Enter the Vault Project. Codename, Safe House.
Not just shelters, these are city-sized bunkers. Self-sufficient, designed to hold 1,000 people for 10 years. We're talking massive engineering projects under key cities. By 2063, they're built. Concrete fortresses against the apocalypse.
But it's the psychological side that's messed up, the constant shelter drills.
Oh God, the drills. Sirens wailing, duck and cover, the whole 9 yards. They did it constantly.
Showing people, right, preparing them.
That was the idea, but they overdid it. They ran those drills so often for so long that people just got numb to it.
Yeah.
Complacent.
So when the real thing happens in 77.
People ignore the sirens. The source is clear. Just another false alarm. All that effort, all that money, And it actually made things worse. People died because they'd been trained not to take the warning seriously. Fucking tragic irony.
Jesus. And while they're drilling people into ignoring Armageddon, the actual infrastructure of the world is just dying. Slowly, painfully.
Yeah, the period from 2059 to 2066 is just a chronicle of systems failure. It starts with the military, ironically. 2059, Anchorage front line. U.S. armor tries to make a push, and their tanks just stop. Dead. The Alaskan pipeline they were fighting over, gone. No fuel. The war machine literally runs out of gas.
So their foreign adventure stalls because they can't even fuel it, and that failure hits home fast.
Oh yeah, 2060.
Yeah.
Global traffic grinds to a halt. Fuel rationing is so extreme, private cars are basically useless. Think about that. No more driving. Anywhere.
People try electric cars, right?
They do, but it's too little too late. The factories making them are slow, they're rationing power themselves. The whole system is seizing up. The U.S. economy, teetering on bankruptcy.
And it's not just fossil fuels. They can't even keep the lights on reliably.
Nope. 2065, New York City. A nuclear reactor nearly melts down. Why? Enormous demands for electricity. They barely avert disaster, but the consequence is immediate. Electricity rationing.
So no gas for your car, maybe no electricity for your home, no resources, economy collapsing. What's left?
Escalation. Blame. War. 2066, the U.S. officially starts a long and bloody war with China. The final slide begins. It's all downhill from here, fast.
Okay, let's rewind slightly back to the labs. Southern California, 2057. This is ground zero for the real end of the world, isn't it? The creation of FEV1.
Forced evolutionary virus. Yeah. And the initial goal, believe it or not, was kind of noble. Insanely naive, but noble. Cure the new plague, wipe out all viruses, leave the person totally fine.
The ultimate magic bullet for disease.
Exactly. And the early tests on lab animals, well, they worked. Too well. It didn't just cure them. It stimulated brain growth, boosted muscle mass. Prolonged exposure led to progressive enhancement. They basically stumbled onto rapid artificial evolution.
But there was a catch. A huge fucking terrifying catch, they noted right then.
Yep. Buried in the research, the warning. FEV1 had unpredictable effects under high radiation.
Which is just the blackest irony imaginable. They create a potential miracle cure that needs the goddamn apocalypse to become a monster.
They built the perfect bioweapon for a nuclear war completely by accident while trying to prevent disease. The level of fuck-up is staggering.
So naturally, the government sees this potential.
Oh, they see it all right. By 2071, the whole project is moved. Secret military base, southwestern California. Official goal, make it safe for human use.
Right, safe.
Yeah, safe meaning weaponizable, or let's make super soldiers. The ethical guardrails are just gone by this point.
And by 2075, they're not just using animals anymore. They're playing God. Human testing. Quarantine temps.
And at first,
Misa.
miracles.
Yep.
Seriously, subjects get healthier overnight, cancers vanish, illnesses disappear. FEV1 just devoured them. It must have seemed like they'd actually cracked it.
For about 2 months.
2 months, then it all goes to hell. Abnormal brain growth, insanity, hideous deformities, leprosy, infertility, warped skeletons. It's a horror show.
And they figure out why, right? How it works.
They do. FEV doesn't just fight disease. It gets into your white blood cells, latches onto your DNA, and just starts rewriting it. Randomly, unpredictably. Total genetic chaos.
They didn't make a cure, they made a mutagenic nightmare. And the response to this catastrophic failure.
Start FEV2 research.
Of course. Fucking of course.
Let's try again. Maybe version 2 won't turn people into screaming puddles of goo when the bombs fall. The sheer, unadulterated hubris. It's breathtaking. They learn nothing.
So they're secretly cooking up FEV2, the world is at war, and then 2076, the wheels completely come off, the panic.
Yeah, news of the FEV1 experiments leaks, bits and pieces get out, media connects the dots, and the rest of the world, they don't see a failed science project.
No, they see a bioweapon.
Exactly. Super soldiers. Hitler's master race. All the worst fears confirmed. In this atmosphere of total paranoia and resource scarcity, FEV becomes the final trigger. Everyone assumes the worst of everyone else.
It pushes everyone over the edge. And then, October 23rd, 2077, Armageddon.
2 hours, that's all it took. Dozens of 20-kiloton warheads hit the U.S. They retaliate. Everyone else panics and pushes their buttons. 2 hours of global nuclear fire.
But the source stresses it wasn't just the explosions. The planet itself broke.
It really did. Massive geological shifts. Fault lines rupture. California gets literally ripped from the mainland. New mountain ranges thrust up. Coastal areas just drowned by floods. The kinetic energy unleashed was apocalyptic on a planetary scale. Far worse than anyone planned for.
And then came the rain.
A week later, the black rain. toxic radioactive fallout, causes mass extinctions of plants and animals almost immediately. The environment is just poisoned, scoured.
But the worst part, the thing that defines the next century, the FEV release.
That secret FEV1 base, it takes a direct hit, obliterated. But the canisters holding the virus, they don't vaporize, they crack open.
And the nuclear winds.
Pick it right up. And the radiation. Remember that warning. Unpredictable effects under high radiation.
It makes it thrive, multiply.
Bingo. The radiation activates it, spreads it globally on the wind. Within a month, FEV1 is everywhere. Every river, every lake, every puddle not sealed away from the elements, every non-sealed water supply around the world.
So anyone who survived the bombs, the radiation, the starvation is now drinking a mutagenic virus.
Pretty much. The apocalypse didn't just destroy, it actively virally changed everything that survived. It seeded the entire planet with the guarantee of mutation. Genetic chaos becomes the baseline for life.
Jesus, what a nightmare. The only island of normalcy, if you can call it that, is the FEV2 base.
Right, the one in southwestern California. Built like a vault, it survives the bombs, seals itself shut. Soldiers, scientists, trapped inside, safe for now.
But carrying the seed of the next disaster.
Exactly. Act 2 is waiting in the wings inside that sealed box.
Okay, fast forward 3 years, 2080. Outside that sealed base, the world is already different. We're seeing the first effects of that global FEV1 saturation.
Yeah, mutation city. Humans, animals, everything that survived is changing rapidly. The source says new species are created almost overnight. It's not evolution, it's just genetic chaos running wild.
The survivors are permanently altered, often horribly. The wasteland isn't just ruins, it's a landscape of mutated life.
It's like the planet itself is running a fucked up high-speed evolution experiment with no controls and lethal consequences. Humanity is the primary test subject.
Meanwhile, inside the FEV2 base, the scientists are having ideas. 2082, radiation's still too high outside, so what do?
They go back to the drawing board, and their conclusion is, well, it's something. They decide they must be the saviors. Their new goal for FEV2, perfect humanity. Make it stronger, smarter, radiation resistant. Change the very makeup of mankind, the source says, to fit this broken world.
They learned absolutely nothing from FEV1.
Worse than nothing. They doubled down on the hubris. They saw the global cataclysm not as a warning, but as proof they just needed to get the science right this time. They seal themselves off from the soldiers, working in secret on these mad dreams.
That secrecy is the fuse, isn't it? Because the soldiers aren't stupid.
Nope. By 2088, things get tense. The soldiers start noticing gaps in the ranks, people disappearing, getting sick, dying. The revolt is brewing.
They figure out what's happening.
Eventually, yeah. One soldier gets into the secret labs, finds the truth. The scientists aren't just researching. They're using the surviving military personnel as guinea pigs for FEV2.
Oh, for fuck's sake. They weren't being protected. They were lab supply.
Exactly. Disposable test subjects. And the soldiers' reaction is swift and brutal.
They fight back.
Full-on firefight inside the base.
Whoa.
The soldiers exterminate every last one of the scientists. Can you blame them? You survive nuclear war only to find your supposed protectors are trying to melt you down into genetic soup.
It's horrific. A war within a war.
And the chaos has consequences. During the fight, an FEV canister ruptures. Panic. They know how bad this stuff is. First, they seal the science labs. Lockdown.
But that's not enough.
A month later, they realize it isn't. This stuff is too dangerous. They need to seal the whole damn base. Permanently.
And just around this time, radiation levels outside finally drop enough.
To make survival possible. Barely. So they make the call. Exodus, they leave the base, taking everything useful, weapons, supplies, and crucially, the passkeys, the electronic keys to get back into the sealed base.
They take the keys to make sure no one else can get in and unleash the virus again, right? An act of responsibility.
Well, that was the intention, yeah. Seal the nightmare away.
Yeah.
But by taking the keys instead of destroying them.
Oh boy. They inadvertently set the stage for the master, decades down the line. They basically gift-wrapped his future headquarters and arsenal.
Unbelievable. They walk away, trying to leave the horror behind.
Yeah.
So these soldiers, now basically refugees with high-tech gear, head south, 2089. They find a solid building, concrete, defensible, the start of the fortress in the wastes.
They try to settle down, maybe build something new, but the wasteland has other ideas.
Brooders.
Yep. A band attacks them, and that's the wake-up call. The world outside isn't just radioactive, it's full of desperate, violent people. Survival means fortification. They spend months reinforcing the place. Metal, concrete, building a proper fort against marauders or wild animals. And from that necessity, an ideology is born. 2090. The Brotherhood of Steel.
And their core belief, chase everything. They see themselves as the last bastion of true humanity. Everyone else, tainted, mutated, unclean.
So rule number 1, isolation, segregation.
Absolutely. No outsiders, no mutants, strict purity. Keep the corruption of the Wasteland out. It makes sense given their trauma with the FEV scientists, right?
Right.
Trust no one, especially not anyone touched by the horrors they escaped. Their walls are physical and ideological.
Okay, jump ahead again. 2134, 44 years have passed. Almost 2 generations living inside this fortress. How has that isolation changed them?
It's warped them, in a way. Technology isn't just tools anymore. It's become a religion. They hoard it, study it, try to recreate lost knowledge. It's the one thing they trust, the legacy of the old world they cling to.
But even in a techno-religious fortress, people disagree. The conflict of the brothers?
Always happens in closed societies, doesn't it? A faction starts arguing against the isolation. Maybe we should go out, share our knowledge, help rebuild, be less like paranoid monks.
How does that go down with the leadership?
Badly. The ruling council shuts it down hard. Purity above all. The argument gets heated, turns violent, finally drawing blood, the source says. The result? Exile for the dissenters.
They're kicked out. Where do they go?
They head east, try to start their own thing. A farming and trading town. Prove that cooperation, not isolation, is the way forward. Good intentions.
There's always a but.
There's always a but. In their haste to leave, or maybe as a final fuck you to the main brotherhood, the exiles take something with them. A metal chest.
Don't tell me.
Yep. The one containing the passkeys to the original FEV military base.
No fucking way. The main boss LS just let them walk off with the keys to the goddamn Pandora's box they sealed away.
They didn't know. It was just a chest among the gear the exiles took. A catastrophic oversight born from internal conflict. They basically handed the keys to their greatest secret, their former prison, the source of all their power and trauma, to a group heading out into the very wasteland they feared. They armed the future master without even realizing it.
Right, here we go. 4 years after that Boas schism, 2138, the Wasteland spawns its own power. Rise of the mutants. And we meet the big bad himself. Or the thing that will become him.
Yeah, the source describes this leader. He's different. Highly resistant mutant. Quad helix DNA, apparently. Makes him look more human than most, less affected by radiation, doesn't seem to age. He's like a 1 in a billion genetic fluke.
The perfect candidate for, well, what's coming? His mutant horde is already rampaging, and they stumble upon the Boas exiles' new village.
Bad luck for the exiles. They're farmers, traders, not warriors in power armor. The mutants overrun them easily, burn the village down, and fine.
All that lovely Boas tech the exiles brought with them. Weapons, armor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which tells this mutant leader, there's better shit out there.
Yeah.
And it leads him right to the main Boas fortress, Fortress Claw.
But the Brotherhood is ready for this.
Oh yeah. This isn't a farming village. Power armor, plasma rifles, disciplined soldiers.
Yeah.
The mutants attack, get their asses handed to them, lose 2/3 of their force, they retreat.
But they grab a prisoner on the way out.
They do. A boldy soldier. And under torture. Well, he spills. Tells them about the keys in that captured chest. Keys that lead, he babbles, to an ancient empire where God and man once became one.
He mythologizes the FEV base, gives the mutant leader not just directions, but a holy quest.
Pretty much. Destiny calling.
So 2139, the mutant leader takes his followers, uses the passkeys. They get inside the sealed FEV base. Looting ensues, weapons, supplies. But the leader makes a beeline for the science labs, the FEV2 site.
He finds the vats, the canisters. Remember the prisoners talk of divine powers? Curiosity, maybe ambition. He breaks one
They're
open.
drenched, along with his buddies.
Yeah. Most of them just die instantly. Horrible, twitching deaths. The FEV2 is still incredibly potent, incredibly lethal.
But not for him. The leader survives. This is the master's genesis.
It transforms him massively. Senses become hyper-acute. He starts having visions, dreams of the future, gains this obsessive longing for knowledge. The FEV2 doesn't just mutate him, it elevates him, twists him, drives him insane with purpose. He takes the name Master.
And he immediately starts sharing the gift.
Coerces his remaining followers into the vats. It's brutal. Only about 1 in 5 survives the initial shock. They don't become like him, not exactly, but they change. Get bigger, stronger, dumber, more aggressive, bloodthirsty.
Some mutants are born.
And the FEV fluid itself, it becomes addictive, like a narcotic for those who survive. Meanwhile, the Master is becoming more and more unbalanced, driven by these visions of world conquest. He has the vision, and now he has the army, or the beginnings of one.
So the Master has his proto-super-mutant army, high-tech weapons from the base, and this expanding, maybe fractured intellect. By 2140, he's actually doing science. analyzing his own creations. And he discovers two massive problems, game-changing flaws.
Yeah, this is crucial. First, the FEV paradox. To make a successful super mutant with FEV2, you need the right starting material. And the best starting material. Pure strain humanity. Untouched humans. Because most Wastelanders are already mutated by the FEV1 that saturated the environment back in 2077, their genetics are too unstable. Trying to add FEV2 on top of that usually just results in death or hideous, useless mutations. The cleaner the baseline human DNA, the better the conversion.
Holy shit. So the Master, who wants to replace humanity with his mutants, needs unmutated humans to create his army.
The irony is savage, isn't it? His weapon of conquest requires the very thing he seeks to eliminate. Pristine vault dwellers, isolated communities.
Yeah.
They're not just targets, they're essential raw materials.
Okay, that's problem one. What's the second fatal flaw?
Sterility. The FEV2 transformation, the gift, is a massive shock to the system. While the Master himself seems unaging due to his unique mutation, his followers, totally sterile. And worse, drastically shortened lifespans. The source says they die of old age in less than 20 years.
20 years. His unstoppable army has a built-in expiry date.
A really short one. They're powerful, yeah, but disposable. The clock is ticking, loudly. The Master's army is literally dying out as fast as he can create it.
So combine those two things. Needs pure humans, army dies quickly.
The imperative is crystal clear. He needs lots of untouched humans, and he needs them now. He has to conquer the world before his entire fighting force just keels over from old age.
This changes everything, how they operate.
Completely. Forget simple raiding for supplies. For the next 12 years, their strategy becomes systematic hostage-taking. Kidnapping. They grab pure strain humans, drag them back to the FEV base, the VATS, dip them, and induct the survivors into the army. It's a desperate high-stakes human harvesting operation.
12 years of kidnapping later, it's 2152. The Master adds another tool to his arsenal. Psychological warfare, religion, the dark god strategy.
This is brilliantly evil. He stumbles upon this pre-existing human cult, vile bunch apparently, worshipping war and death. They see the Master, this towering, terrifying figure.
Think he's their god come to life.
Bingo. They literally fall down and worship him. And the Master, being intelligent and utterly ruthless, rolls with it. Like Cortez with the Aztec, the source says, he plays the part, claims divinity, demands obedience.
But he doesn't just turn them into mutants.
Some, maybe, as a reward. But he realizes they're more valuable as humans. As spies, infiltrators, intelligence assets.
Smart. How does he use them?
Sends them out into settlements. They use tech trinkets. From the Master's base, fancy radios, weird gadgets to impress people, gain trust. They recruit followers, learn the settlement's layout, defenses. And then, right before the super mutant army arrives, the cultists sabotage the town's arsenal. Disable the weapons, unlock the gates, soften the target for an easy takeover.
Jesus. That's terrifyingly effective, paving the way for conquest from the inside. And the reward for the loyal cultists.
The ultimate reward in their eyes,
Yeah.
becoming super mutants themselves. Ascension to serve their god. It guarantees loyalty and provides a steady stream of those precious, pure strain humans for the VATS.
This intelligence network pays off big time in 2155, the LA Vault discovery.
Huge breakthrough. His mutants ambush a caravan. But these travelers are different. Untouched. Weird clothes, strange accents, carrying advanced tech the Master hasn't seen before.
Vault dwellers. Fresh out of a working vault.
Has to be. The Master interrogates them himself, learns they came from a vault somewhere near the ruins of a big city out west, Los Angeles.
So he mounts an expedition.
Massive one. Heads to the ruins of LA. His human cultists go in first, find the vault, it's open, some people still living there, then the Master hits it. Hard.
Captures, kills, but finds something more valuable than prisoners.
Records, computer files, proof that more vaults exist. Underground, some possibly still sealed, full of pure strain humans. This is the jackpot, the map to his future army.
He's not just a warlord anymore, he's a planner. A systematic conqueror.
Exactly. He takes over the captured LA vault, makes it his new base, and that Gothic church still standing above the vault entrance, that becomes the headquarters for his human cult, the Citadel. The cultists are now officially the children of the Citadel.
Okay, 2156. Armed with the LA Vault data, the Master launches his first targeted search for more vaults. The source details the 3 conquests, shows his methods.
Method 1, brute force. They find Vault 1. It's still sealed tight, so the Master brings out the big guns, advanced explosives from the military base, burns a hole right through the vault door.
The dwellers fight back.
Hard. Heavy casualties on both sides. Shows how tough those vaults were.
Right.
But the super mutants eventually win. Survivors go to the VATS. Vaults looted, then abandoned. Problem solved with overwhelming force.
Conquest number 2, Vault 2. Different story.
Much easier. Vault 2 had opened recently. Most people had already left. The few remaining put up no resistance. Easily captured.
And this is where we get a crucial bit of lore.
Yeah, the source casually mentions that the people who left Vault 2 before the Master arrived, they went on to found the Hub, the big trading town.
So the hub exists basically because the Master was a little late getting to their vault.
Wow.
Connects the dots between the rising civilization and the lurking threat.
Exactly. Sets up future conflicts.
Okay, third conquest, farthest south. Leads him to a ruined city full of ghouls.
Yeah.
The Necropolis encounter.
Right. Ghoulish mutants. They attack the super mutants initially, but quickly realize they're massively outgunned and retreat.
The Master finds the vault there.
Yeah, Vault 12. But it was a dud. Faulty radiation shielding. It opened decades ago, and the radiation turned the inhabitants into, well, the ghouls he just met. No pure humans here. Total bust.
So he's pissed off.
Furious. Lets his mutants rampage through the ghoul city for a bit, just out of spite. Until the ruler of Necropolis, a ghoul named Set, manages to talk him down. A very tense negotiation.
And the Master agrees to leave him alone. Why?
On one condition. A really nasty one. The ghouls have to be his eyes and ears in the south. They must report immediately if they see anyone who looks like they just came out of a working, recently opened vault. He basically turns them into unwilling informants, backed by the threat of annihilation. Leaves a super mutant garrison there just to make sure they comply. Smart, ruthless utilization of even failed targets. Right, so after this initial conquest, the Master heads back to his LA Vault base. He's got intel, he's got forward outposts, time to delegate. He sends his top lieutenant back to the original FEV military base, the one with the VATS, puts him in charge of the conversion process, streamlining the army production line.
And by 2161, which the timeline marks as today, the strategy shifts again. The lieutenant changes tactics for acquiring new recruits.
Yeah, no more large-scale raids on settlements for now. Too much attention. They shift to covert acquisition, small groups, caravans traveling to and from the hub. Hit them fast, leave no trace. Make it look like they just disappeared into the desert. Plausible deniability.
Why the shift to stealth?
Because the Master needs those pure humans from places like the hub. But he can't afford to provoke the hub, or the Brotherhood, or any other organized group into a full-scale war just yet. He's building his army, gathering intel, but trying to keep his main operation secret. He needs to choose the time and place for the final conflict.
And his cultists are helping with this covert stuff.
Absolutely essential. The Children of the Citadel have a temple in the hub now. Perfect cover. They feed the lieutenant intel. Caravan schedules, routes, guard strengths. They're the intelligence arm of the kidnapping operation. They even build a secret forward base near the hub, specifically for launching these snatch and grab raids.
So the whole operation is becoming much more sophisticated. Surgical, almost.
Exactly. And a Master himself. He's deep underground in the LA Vault, planning, scheming, integrating himself with the Vault's computers, apparently, processing all the data, refining his grand plan. The source says he feels the time is almost right. He's just waiting for a sign. Hashtag outro, synthesis and final thought.
Wow. Okay, so 109 years. From the world running out of gas to the literal brink of a super mutant apocalypse. It all comes down to failure, doesn't it? Resource management failure, diplomatic failure, and holy shit, scientific failure on an epic scale.
It's a cascade of fuck-ups. The resource wars bled into nuclear war in just 25 years. And the attempt to cure a plague accidentally created FEV, the ultimate mutagen, which the bombs then conveniently spread worldwide.
The core takeaway, I think, is the sheer terrifying arrogance of that pre-war science, that FEV project. It's the origin point for both major powers that emerge.
Absolutely. The Brotherhood of Steel, born directly from the military betrayal at the FEV base, their obsession with purity and technology, a direct reaction to the horror they escaped, and the Master's Army, literally created by the same FEV2, found by accident because the Brotherhood exiles carried the keys away.
It's all connected, a closed loop. The boss's internal fight inadvertently empowers their greatest enemy. The Master's biological imperative, the need for pure humans because his mutants are sterile, forces him into this elaborate clandestine war of kidnapping and infiltration. Each side's existence is fundamentally tied to the other through that shared catastrophic origin.
It's beautifully, tragically intertwined. And it leaves us right here, 2161. The Master is poised. He has his army, his cult, his intelligence network. He's grabbing pure strains covertly, and he's waiting for a sign to launch the final phase.
Which brings us to the final thought for you to chew on. We know the Master needs vault dwellers. We know he believes he has prophetic visions and is waiting for some kind of signal. So what event, what specific person, what small disturbance in the Wasteland might be the sign he's waiting for? What could possibly trigger this mutated psychic monstrosity to finally unleash his plan for total world conquest?